I'd be curious. Do you go back and like look at how they perform after the fact? Like, do you ever like say like see like for example like I love studying that stuff, being like, okay, I put out this video, it was super produced, right, but it didn't do as well, or it did do really well, or and then I put out this video where it's literally just like four takes on the guitar splicing together, and it did really well, or it didn't and I'm like I'm always trying to dissect the viewer, right, like what they like, why they liked it. So I'm curious if you go back and like say, oh, this performed really well, I wonder what aspect of it did people connect with, or is it just something you kind of do a project and you're like on to the next?
It's kind of on to the next, to be
Sure.
real, and it's one of those things where, at this point, it's like I don't even look at the views until probably like a year later. I think there's like that like immediate like, oh, how's the video doing? And you'll check in on it like every morning, and oh, it's doing good. And then you're like, you dip away, or
Yeah,
like
sure.
just to see those first reactions and like the live chats and stuff is always fun. But I don't get too caught up in that, and I don't think you should, because people don't like it, like, or something, like you don't want it to get into your head, or if they love it, like, don't let it get to your head either. It's
Exactly.
like just
Sure.
keep doing what you're doing, like,
Sure.
and it's all about making the artist and the client happy at the end of the day. These music videos are essentially, not only a commercial for them, but a piece of art representing where they are in their career right now. So it's like, at the end of the day, that's almost more important than view count. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure views matter to the label, but they don't matter to someone like who's
Sure.
like a hired gun.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious because like my follow up question to that was like, I wonder if do you see any style video that is ends up being better received, and you kind of touched on that with these live performances a little bit. I'm curious, like, have you noticed that these like more intimate stuff are being better received now than these massive, $600,000 budgets, or is it just completely, you know,
I mean, when the budgets are that big, and few and far between, there is like people. I think people can feel it and they can see it and they
oh
react
sure,
to it, right? But I think my job as a producer and director is like to blur the lines so that people can't tell,
cool,
or if they think this video is bigger when maybe it really wasn't.
sure,
And like that,
absolutely,
that's what I take some satisfaction from.
yeah,
And then as far as asking, like, as far as response from their fan base, what videos do better, like maybe I'm biased here, but I'm a big narrative guy. I love intertwining a story into a video, even if it's in 3 minutes, right? Um, and I think that was cool about with Puppet, is like there was so much detail from Fozia that she wanted in the video, and I think the fans all pick up on it.
sure,
And I didn't think I was going to talk about Breaking Benjamin so much today, but like we did like five video or six videos that all told one through story where it kept evolving,
wow,
kept building on each other, and all the comments like, "Oh, go back and watch this one," and
oh that's
go back
wild
to this
actually,
reference from there. So it's like, so that to me is super fun. It's like I'm a big fan of Marvel movies and things like that, and
yeah, that's really
and
interesting,
we would joke around. I think in one of the treatments I like called it like the Breaking Benjamin cinematic universe or whatever.
yeah, that's cool. So but the songs weren't necessarily connected, but the music videos were, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean the songs are connected because they're from the artist,
Well,
right?
sure, 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 but
And like and for Breaking
oh,
Benjamin,
that's cool, man. That's a cool concept.
and we've done it a few times. We did it with this artist Jumex. We did it with Breaking Benjamin. I pitched it a lot. I think it's super fun to do that, and it's not super easy to pull off, because one, you need the
Sure.
trust of the artist throughout, and I think it really works with Breaking Benjamin because that was a band that I listened to when I was a young kid, right?
Yeah.
And some of those videos are almost 20 years old, and with that, like with those videos, not only were we building on like the Breaking Benjamin like lore of 20 years ago, but then also like introducing new mythos and things like that, and building this entire world where it all came together like in this one video for Tornin 2, where we were just like, it was basically a love letter to all the past videos, as well as like propelling it to where we're going in the future with the story. So like those kind of things are super fun to me, and I think like it's just establishing those relationships, and sometimes they're special with Fozia or Breaking Benjamin, where you get to do multiple projects and you kind of feel each other out as artists. And then a lot of times it's like one and done, and like you're like, hey, I'm Kyle, nice to meet you, doing the video, and never see you again. So
Sure.
It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah. Well, hey, well, those one and dones are great for a reel, though.
Yeah,
That's
and honestly, I used to take it probably a little more personal. Like, oh, we just did a great video. Why are they going with
sure.
somebody
Sure.
else, right? But I think the reality is like, even if the video is great and they love it, the labels or the artists, the management, they're going to be like, well, let's do something different, and they're going to go the other way, like the most complete opposite
Yeah.
of you. So you can't hold it against the artist, like if they go a different route.
Yeah. There's so many factors too. Absolutely.